What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? I hope you're having a great morning. The markets are complicated, looking like they're moving towards that upside. If you followed me yesterday on my live, I told you that what I suspect is going to happen is we're going to get kind of a pre-pump over the weekend. I think that we're going to start to see maybe institutions sort of layer in, because there's two important dates coming up. One is February 17, the other one is February 18. On February 17, Americans start getting their tax refund money sent out from the federal government. So that's probably going to kick off a retail surge. And then number two, on February 18, money starts to get distributed to people from the FTX collapse. And there's so much Ethereum money and Solana money. There's so much altcoin money that's being held on the sidelines right now by FTX, that when that money comes back into the market, if a significant portion of it goes back into risk investment, crypto, then we're going to see a really, really good surge. Now, you never know how this market is going to play, but I would suspect that in the next 3 to 4 days, we're going to start seeing some movement to the positive. I am highly speculating in that. And by the way, if it does happen, then of course Luna Classic would get caught up in that mix too, and probably also have that surge. The surge that would continue the breakout moves that I've given you so far before. So if you like this type of content, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. I'll explain everything that I mean along the way. But before we get started, make sure today that you sign up at terracasino.io. This is where you go in order to take that shot, take that risk, try to win. From February 17 to February 23, Multiplier Rush 4, Excelling is giving away $6,000, and Merge Up from B Gaming is now available on Terra Casino. And you know the cryptos that you can use: XRP, Ethereum, BNB, USDT, Cardano, Bitcoin, BUSD, Dogecoin, USDC, Volt. You can use Luna Classic. You can use Tron. You can use Polygon. You can use Litecoin. You can use Floki. You can use Ripple USD. You can use Terra. You can use Cat with Hat. Basically, almost everything that you can possibly use, you can use. So go sign up today. Now, for proposals, you will see that there's two proposals up right now. One is that 1.86 billion USTC. You need to know how everybody is voting so that you can make a good decision about what you think. So we've got yes, 60% so far, has not met a threshold. And then we got 40% no with veto. Now, if you are in the yes category, then Vegas, Baywatch, Juris, Garuda, Burn It All, Terra Classic, these are all the people going down the line that have voted yes. Now, no with veto, Jesus is Lord. So Jesus is Lord does not want to see that 1.86 USTC held in the LFG wallet being burned. I would be interested to see what the logic or the reason is behind that. Now listen, one of the arguments that most people make is that it's not our business to decide. If we are in fact decentralized, it would be just whatever happens, happens. So, and I understand that logic, but let me say for the record in this regard, as a community, as a DAO, which by the way, previously that's what was happening, the purpose of LFG was one, and that was to protect the peg. And they did not do that. So by virtue of their only capacity being that, then that to me means forfeiture and is the responsibility of the community to address that situation. The fact that we're doing it 2 years later doesn't mean that it's still not the obligation of the community to address that failing. And that failing is the LFG. Now, leaving it to chance, you're leaving it to Duquan or anybody else who may be a bad actor to get into that wallet and start to sell it off on the open market and thereby wreck the chart and steal the liquidity. So this is the safest way. So the fact that Jesus is Lord 1 and 2 are no with veto, you should question exactly why that's happening. And if you disagree with this vote, you should be validating with somebody else. If you agree with this vote, this is the only people. If you agree that it should not be burned, then this is really the only validator right now that's in the no category, right? So it's everything else is 0, and there's one that's on abstain. But it's an important thing, in my opinion. You know, I'm not sure it's the biggest proposal or the biggest idea, but it is an important one, I think, in fixing some of the supply issues, at least visually. Meme coins, we're having a good day. Terra started to dip just a little bit more, but Garuda X actually broke out. $243 now for that bag of $25. So we're up about 10x on our Garuda bag. We're up about 8x, 7x, 6x on our food bag, and Juris starting to move again. Cat with Hat getting a little bit of a lift we've seen in the last couple of days. So we're starting to see, again, we're getting to see a surge. We're getting to see a move. Will it sustain? That's the question. I do think it's about to sustain at this point. It just, you know, it just has not at this point. And, you know, part of the reason is that the money, the money coming around in this space is getting pulled very, very quickly by outside sources, if you will, by bad actors in this space, by, you know, just some general nastiness, the liquidity pulls that are happening. So zooming in, we can see that the move right here, again, this, you know, we had a nice little surge up here to about 4083, but there's an expectation at some point that there's profit taking along the way, right? So the people here have an 80% move. So off of their 80% move, it would stand to reason that there would be some sort of correction. So what have we corrected to so far? We have not corrected very far down. So we could be in for a large continuation move. We may not be able to draw our tool out very much at all. Now, if we do this in reverse, let's do a Fibonacci in the reverse fashion here, and you can see that when we do it in this direction, we've still got room to run. Where do I expect this to go? I expect it to go to 0.5, 0.618, or 0.786. That's what I expect in the move. Now, to fulfill that move, that means that we've still got to dump down here to 11, 3 zeros 11, 3 zeros 12, 8, or 3 zeros 15, which makes a lot of sense coming back up into this range. So there is the move to completion, and the fact that you're looking at the 786, which is the deepest level of the correction, or generally speaking, it tends to be the when you're adding new investors or when you're subtracting some investors, the 786 becomes an important line. And it actually makes sense that when you look at it from this context, that boom, the breakout goes to right in that range. So expect to see a move. I would expect to see a continuation of this. Right now, again, we're still just kind of at the heart line of both of these moves. And these moves right here are this green line going down this way, green line going down this way. So, you know, watch for the move here, or at least a continuation as such for what's been happening. And USTC, again, same thing, only it doesn't have nearly as far to go. As you can see from this breakout, it actually happened, and we got that almost to the top breakout. Now let's see what it looks like on Fibonacci. In Fibonacci, we're already there. So you might see this thing kind of well up close to it, but not exactly break in. But to do that, it's going to go to 2.6 cents in the event that it does reverse and to break down into that direction. And of course, if a trend reverses, if this trend line reverses back positive, then we could see a breakout heading to the upside, or a full breakdown to that 1, and that's 3 cents. So again, possible breakout, but like I was saying before, most of this has already happened here. So we got a nice recovery basically on USTC, trying to get back to that 3 cent sort of level. If you got in, you grabbed a bag down here, you're up about 5-6x at this point. So shout out to you. You're up. Well, you're up 1x, 2x, and then up here it was 152%. So big moves happening right now. If they continue, then, you know, we could be looking at some really cool stuff breaking out. We could be looking at some fireworks. U.S. market seems to be in a buy mode so far this morning. I don't know if that continues over the course of the day, but for right now, it seems like they are interested in buying up secondary coins. Trump is pumping pretty significant right now from where it was. There's you know, a few bright spots out there in the market that we're looking at, just kind of popping off. XRP is up substantially, 7% on the day. So there's a lot breaking out right now. As far as volume, down big today. but the market's still up. So we'll see. There's a correction due. So we'll see what happens there. The USTC down just a little bit there. Volume flow not down. It's down, but again, I think it's usually in line with less than Luna Classic, and it's been more for the last bunch of days. So I think this is a correction that was destined and bound to happen. 360 million burned over the last 7 days. Yesterday's burn was 64 million. Very little being burned today, but yesterday we had 36,000 USTC, kind of back to normal, if you will. This big run of burns kind of flamed out, if you will. So to see some new burns happening would be a phenomenal move, and a testament to why we need to see this kind of stuff happen. Like, to see these big burns would start to break this thing out. Like, I think you guys should see it, and if you're not, I don't think you're thinking clearly. And by the way, if you're not thinking clearly, if you're looking at this and you're saying to yourself, well, it's not going to pump, it's not, then you don't know anything about the altcoin market. It will pump. The question really isn't whether it will pump, it's how much it will pump, right? And based on some of the metrics and some of the mechanics, it's going to be difficult. But you remove 1.8 billion totally from the supply, then you start looking at that, the other TFL wallets, you start looking at those pieces, and then guess what? Now you have significant burn starting to affect what people think. And when people see stuff like that happen, guess what? They get super bullish about the potential future, and you get a lot of risk-based investment coming in and people looking at. So that's what is probably more likely or most likely to happen right now. You're about to get a tremendous pump. But look, if you don't believe me, that's okay. You've been wrong before. This thing is going to pump. There is a powder keg of good news coming through. There's a powder keg of revival and a powder keg of opportunity for Luna Classic. All we have to do is just execute a little bit. We don't even have to be great. We just have to be good. Just execute a little bit, and guess what? When it flips, and it will flip, then it's going to go parabolic. And in closing, there's one more proposal that's up right now, and that is to upgrade to the SDK 50.9, which is it's a backward compatible core infrastructure for Cosmos SDK, and the WASM module 0.53.2, addressing unresolved issues with the 0.47 upgrade, enhanced security, and ensuring long-term sustainability. So, and this is the upgrade contingent on Orbit Labs unforking completion, and includes fixes for technical debt mitigation of breaking changes and developer-focused improvements. So go vote for that. It is up right now. I think the vote should be yes. I think all votes were yes so far. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that Luna Classic is going to take off? Do you think that this is... look, I think that we are in a spot right now where just a little bit of momentum in the right direction will set this thing alight, and everything will change dynamically for the Luna Classic community. But that's speculative based on the way the market is playing out, based on the little things that you're seeing in the market. We don't know for sure if that's going to happen, but I do think it's going to happen. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think that we're here? Is the altcoin season about to break? It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.